Here we go. We're back at Loveborn, getting ready to actually frame up some walls, interior walls, and we're sort of doing that a little out of order because the floors aren't in yet. So we're gonna do the walls. We're gonna do the interior walls, and we're gonna create somewhat some footers out of the cinder block over here, and we're just gonna trench out. We're gonna trench out across here, level that up, run some string lines, get this all square, plumb from the beams. We're gonna plumb down and figure out where we need to be down here. Trench this out, run some string lines, get level off of this grade right here, which this is finished floor grade right here at the door. So we're gonna transfer that over to this line over here.
We got 10 feet by 10 feet, Thomas? Is that
12, this is
12
like
by
12, and then we're gonna do one over there, 12.
So we're doing a little entryway.
Yeah, mudroom.
Mudroom entryway. If you guys remember some of the video we did of Thomas's bottle glass and the entryway, so you can check that video out of us building that. But now it's gonna be a kind of all repurposed glass. And
yeah, we're gonna do some old windows here. We got old windows that Deborah and I have been collecting, these old windows. Deborah and I, over the last few years, we scored a bunch of them at Habitat for Humanity. And I got a smoky deal on them. Some of them are rougher than the others, but I removed all the hardware on the exterior if there was any. Measured them all, and then figured out square footage, overall square footage, which yeah, you can see there's square footage per window and then total overall square footage. So we have enough 227 square feet, and we need 84 square feet. So it looks like we have double amount. So we'll have to, Pete and I'll have to go through and some sort of pre-lay out the windows, because between each windows, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have these recycled 2x6 lumber, this recycled 2x6, and then we're gonna basically take these windows, set them on here. They're gonna be center on this 2x6. And then we're gonna just temporarily tack these in, toenail them in, screw them in, and then we're gonna go back and create a piece of trim to lock this in on both sides, and that'll leave a little bit of a lip on each side of this window, but that'll give us a way to attach all of these different size windows in a grid pattern, a random grid pattern here to create, that wall.
cool. All right, cool. Well, we'll get to doing the footer today and get back with some footage of that afterwards. So. All right, here's some footage of me and Thomas core filling the concrete block footer that we put down. We did run a string line and kind of leveled it all out. And yeah, more or less we're just core filling these, tapping them with the mallet a little bit to work it down, working it with a piece of rebar to kind of get it in there. And Thomas has the trowel, and we're just going to set these anchor bolts in now. The anchor bolts are just going to tie down the bottom plate, so then we can frame up off of the bottom plate for the repurposed glass window. It's going to be all glazing, except for the very bottom is going to be a little bit of galvanized roof. So there's what it looks like after we framed it up, and we're going to fill that cavity with a bunch of the repurposed windows right there. So again, just a nice little mud room, and it will be cool that it still lets light in the back of the Earthship as well. Here's some time-lapse footage from the next day or two of me and Thomas working on kind of randomizing the windows and framing them up. So each one is a little bit different, so we had to kind of measure the height and width of each one, and then also we wanted to stagger the windows so they're not in like a straight line per se, different heights, different lines. So it kind of looks a little bit more organic. So a little bit more time consuming than just framing up a wall, but that's okay, and it looks cool. It does take a lot of extra time and energy to repurpose materials, but if you can do it and save it from getting thrown away to the dump or just getting scrapped, you can save thousands of dollars to your build. So yeah, now we're working on the second course of windows. Definitely a two-person job to do this. Someone kind of working the saw. Thomas was working the saw as I was working on installing mostly and getting measurements for them to rip and cut. Obviously, we're checking and plumbing each one up so they're nice and straight to the wall that we got, tying into the beam up top, more or less just framing it with screws too. We are putting the bottom and top pieces of trim in each one as a stop too, since all these windows are different. So what you don't see is Thomas down on the floor kind of making the cuts again for the width to put the stops in. So they're all being held up and they just don't fall out. So again, hope you guys like this video. It just shows you an example of what maybe you can do with repurposed materials, especially with an alternative build, whether it's an Earthship like we're doing right now, or whether it's something else unique, straw bale, cob house, you name it. Just gonna let the footage play out. There's some pictures at the end of what it looks like. Thanks a lot, guys. Like and subscribe. More videos coming. Owner Builders Unite.